Thanks for doing that for me.
Of course, of course.
So I have everything set up and I will send this to you immediately after. So I
Thank
won't, yes, I won't even have the chance of forgetting.
you.
Okay, so I have the little synopsis from our last session. Going to head going ahead and put the counselor hat on.
Mhm.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm um more stressed than usual. Just I got, spring break was a work vacation and or a work. I had the opportunity to work over spring break
Mm.
and um I was like, "Oh, I'll go." It was a travel. I went to California to work at an orchid nursery and I was like, "Oh, I'll do homework and just like, work this much every day." And I forgot how kind of um not procrastinatory to the point of near incompetent
Hmm.
the owner of that place was. And we were basically like putting together a show. And so I ended up working like 4, 5, 12-hour days. I worked a 70-hour work week.
Oh my goodness.
And
Was
I
it
still
because of his procrastination? Like that added the
Yeah, I ended up just like doing a lot of the work that we were supposed to be collaborating on, which is fine, you know. Um, he is incredibly generous with with um the with my pay and with the plants he gives me to take home. And so it is a calculation that has been worth it to me for many years. And so I am kind of trying to play a little like catch up on homework, and then it's the Asheville Orchid Show this weekend, which I also work, and so I've got to work my actual job on days that I wouldn't usually, and then put a bunch of work in at the Orchid Show all weekend. And so I am also playing, you know, pre-catch up for work that is due next week. And so I am so much busier than I anticipated being, and it's exhausting.
Oh, that can be frustrating too because if you're if it's like different than what you anticipate, you didn't really prepare and that could be just kind of discombobulating, because yeah,
Yep.
especially like the work vacation as you called it.
Yeah.
Whenever like your hour I love that you gave him praise, of course, but still doesn't make it any less frustrating whenever you can see how things can be a lot more efficient and your time's worth a lot too.
And
Like,
yeah. And it's like frustrating because, this guy is like, he's 63 and he's like, um, he is he's like, you know, without a formal diagnosis, like very deeply autistic, like doesn't understand social stuff in a lot of ways, but can have like really deep and intimate conversations, knows everything in the world about orchid species. And you can point to something. I love walking through the nursery with him because every single plant has a story and he can tell you exactly where it's found, like what state in Peru and what elevation and what mountain range and what weather it gets there. So he's just got like this intense and detailed map of the world. And, the really interesting stories about like who discovered it, who brought it to his nursery, on all of that. But he's also been doing it for 55 years, 56 years. He started when he was 7 because he just like found an orchid and found that just like little gift right away.
mhm.
And so um, he really hates the business aspect of it and will avoid doing anything that has to do with the business aspect of it at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, you can't have the nursery if we
Yeah.
don't do this show. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it and like you
Oh,
can answer emails or like, get totally distracted on iNaturalist on the computer for 5 hours.
that's funny.
So it's it it's a different kind of stress, and it's like the the lack, like his attitude and his just like way of doing this are very routine to me at this point.
Mm.
And so it's very easy for me to just go take charge and do it in a somewhat relaxing way. It
Mhm.
just takes 12 hours
Right.
a day.
Yeah,
Takes a
because
long.
you're doing it all. You're basically you're managing it.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
kind of it's kind of like he's like the business owner and you're the manager who does
Yeah.
like all the lead work. And because
Yeah.
he wants to just play and identify, which is amazing. I mean, and isn't
Great.
it
Yeah.
is. It's so cool. That wealth of knowledge is amazing, but hard, you can appreciate that, but whenever you have to like do all of the boots on the ground work, that's a lot.
Hmm. Yep.
Also, isn't that how you started, like your passion for orchids? Didn't you see one and it kind of clicked in your brain? And
Yeah. I saw it and I just ended up doing like a lot of research and I was when at that time in my life, no longer. I was getting high just every night and I was just like getting high and reading about plants and
hmm
like and and so I have a very small modicum of the encyclopedia that this guy does. But we're very, very like simpatico in that way where we can, you know, just nerd out over plants and be like, "Oh, did you hear that that species was found in Veracruz last year? And so it's a new locality." And it's just like, yeah, that's
Ah,
it's cool and great.
that can
And
be
it's
so validating to find someone who,
yes,
is as passionate about this amazing. Yeah,
yes.
that is
And
really cool.
and the orchid community out there is like full of those people, really full of like species oriented, just super nerds.
hmm
So it's like, yeah, it's great. I love being out there so much.
That's a cool community. It's just a cool subculture. I mean, how many strains of orchids are, or how many species of orchids?
There are 27,000 documented
Jeez.
species and estimated to be about 35. But that number changes pretty frequently just based on the like changing rules of what a species is.
Mm,
And like, um, and there's a lot of market botany as marketing. Like there's a company in Ecuador that has their own like publication now where they describe like new species. But a lot of them are probably not species, but like hybrids that have just been accidentally made at
mm,
their nursery. And so it's
mm.
like we don't, because there's no collection data, there's no elevation
Oh.
data, there's no pollination, there's no data other than this is a new flower. And that is usually not enough.
Mm.
So, you know,
Like not enough to be classified
yeah,
as,
yeah, yeah.
right, because it
So,
didn't naturally occur. It was just kind of, is that
yes, it's unrelated to like there's no ecology and it's unrelated
right?
to the world around it.
Like the natural evolution of survival, like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really interesting.
It's interesting. But yeah,
I know
it
that you're really passionate about it, but that's a lot to work that
it
much.
it was a lot. I
A lot.
never, because like my usual schedule here is like homework. most days. And then, you know, I work maybe like 20 hours a week, which I'm very, very lucky to be able to do.
Mhm.
Um, and so, yeah, it's exhausting. Plus jet lag, plus the time change while I was over there, daylight savings.
Right.
And so it's just been a lot. It's just been a lot.
And then the orchid show this weekend.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, seems
prepping
like
for
it is.
that.
Are you going to get a break after that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just be able to focus on homework and school.
Traveling's hard though. I mean, that
Traveling
huge
is so
disruption in routine in
hard.
itself is
Yeah.
big. And then also just this added, I mean, especially whenever it was kind of just like an unexpected amount of work. Because you were,
Hmm.
I mean, I'm guessing you were planning to do homework and everything during
Oh
that
yeah.
time,
And
but just
I also like I managed to do like a couple hours of homework every
good
day.
job.
But
Wow,
it's
you're
like
awesome. That's
I
good.
just no, it sucked. It was so tiring.
No, I know, but the fact that you had that, you were able to is amazing. That's, I mean, I don't know. That's something to be proud of, I think. But I mean, of course, that's not what you're expecting. So I understand what you mean. But I think
I
that's pretty cool that you're able to
I
still try.
I have a lot of trouble taking pride in like work ethic and ability to work because I think that morally it is wrong to take pride in that. I don't think anybody should
Mm.
be proud of working 60 hours and barely getting by, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And so
Yes.
as soon as he said that, I was like, no, I don't have any pride in work, and I never will. I want to live a life of ease and do as little as possible.
Well, I was trying to praise your like willpower to still do your schoolwork,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
not real. I feel like working 70 hours, that's, I think, I mean, it feels
Monster.
unfair, wasn't really expected, didn't want to pray. I mean, there is still something to be said to be able to do that. I mean, that's still, but the fact that productivity is equated to our self-worth and our culture, yes, I resent that.
Yeah,
Rest is productive too, okay?
yeah.
It's
Very
very,
much so.
very productive. I
So,
mean, if you never rest, I mean, you're only going to burn out. It's only a
yeah,
matter, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So, no, I love that you said that because full-heartedly agree. Yeah, I hate that it's praised in our culture. It's so frustrating.
it sucks. So, yeah, all in all, in answer to your question, how am I doing? Doing as well as I can. I'm doing a lot of work. Work, work, work.
But
Work, work, work.
you're gonna have your regular routine back by next week.
Yeah. This time next week, I will be kind of free of all the, you know, random stressors that are thrown in, and it'll be back to a more even routine. So,
Yeah, and trying, I don't want to do advice giving, but maybe just like a reminder of, I mean, like, do you have any like, are you gonna give yourself a soft landing that week too, though? Because even in,
oh, um, you know, I don't, hmm, what's a soft landing?
just not plan, I guess just what I was gonna say is just not plan a bunch of extra things,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes I
probably.
feel like, I don't know, I forget what it's called. It's called an empathy gap we have with
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
where maybe you'll get like a upswing of energy and then want to plan something for next week. And then once you get there, you're exhausted from your past
Yeah.
2 weeks of working your butt off.
I My only plans are to go hiking because
Nice. Well, that's very
every
restorative.
time, yeah, every time I I forget, but I do this every year where I go to the to help out in California and come back and immediately have to like go do this orchid show. For the past 3 years, I've done this. And then I get totally burnt out. and I just like rest and I miss all of the spring ephemerals.
Mm,
And so next Monday, I am planning on getting up early, having a good breakfast, making myself a sandwich to go, and going to a place that is extremely beautiful with my
yeah.
dogs, and just like, you know, yeah,
That
trying to see all the trilliums before they go away by mid-April.
that sounds like a soft landing to me. That sounds extremely restorative because I feel like it can be easy to just like shut down and, you know, sleep.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
honestly, that's not always the most restorative. And you've said the past few years you've always like missed the spring and
yeah.
So I think yeah, that's great. I think that's a
Yeah.
wonderful.
And I've realized over the past couple of years that like time is always on the top of my mind. And just, you know, I feel like I never have enough. I
Mm,
feel, there's so much that I want to do.
hmm
There's so much that I have the ability to do. And like now with previously with work, it was like, okay, I'm adding a bunch of time at the end of a day where I was working a very physically demanding job. And there are the emotional demands of really hating that job. And so at the end of the day, I didn't want to do anything at all. And
Yeah.
it would just be like genuinely tired from like walking up and down ladders all day in the summer heat. I couldn't go for a hike.
Mm-mm.
And so, now like I have some more time. And over winter, I felt the intense like time constraints of daylight and like being on my phone so much added to it.
Yeah.
Like being on just trying to keep up with the news and keep up with all of the, horror of a world crumbling around us was just like taking up so much of my time.
Mm.
And like shortly after our last session, we got like this device called a brick where
Mm.
we can like just hold our phones up next to it, my wife and I,
Mm.
and it'll turn off certain apps and just not allow us to access them.
That is so cool. I've
It's
never heard
really
of that.
great. Yeah, it's really great. And so every day I will generally like, you know, start the day with it off
Mm.
because it has just like I turn it off before bed and then it just stays off. And if I like need to get it, I block the internet too because I can get so distracted by just like looking at iNaturalist and looking at plants. And it's just like it's a more fulfilling form of doom scrolling, but it is also just like, it's still just like time whipping past my face.
Mm.
And so it generally, I will, whenever I need a break from doing stuff and don't have like energy to read a book, I will just like unlock it, scroll for a little bit, and then brick it again after like a half an hour.
That's it sounds like you're striking a great balance because, I
Yeah.
mean, sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I wouldn't be able to do it without the device, you know? Like I still find myself like picking up my phone and just being like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it at all,
Well,
which is
extremely,
wonderful.
it's extremely addicting. I mean, the fact that you found, I'm going to invest in one, seriously, because I lose so much of my time to doom scrolling and also my special interests, like,
Right.
iNaturalist for you.
Yeah.
But to pivot back to what I wanted to say, which was I think you're being really proactive about it. And I also I don't know, I think you're creating a not healthy, but you know, a I don't like the word productive either. What was the other word that we were using? Like a good I don't know, a good solid balanced boundary maybe with it,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I don't, I think indulging in our special interests does give us energy. And maybe
Oh,
time whips by so quickly because you love it so much. It's giving you
yeah.
dopamine. But again, that can be a form of escapism,
Hmm.
which,
Hmm.
so I think you putting a limit's great. But would but mentioning time, is
Hmm.
it still okay? You said that time is, you feel like you don't have enough, but then you
Yeah.
said you feel like it's gotten better recently, or or like, I just want to clarify that. Do you still feel
Yeah.
like you don't have enough time, or?
For many, many years, especially working full time, I just did not feel like I had enough time to like live
Hmm.
a life that I really wanted to.
Right.
And, um, you know, and yeah, that has gotten better. And like me, um, being able to go on a hike on a, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday when very few people are out in the woods is um more restorative than I ever like thought it would be. And
Hmm.
so like I did that 3 weeks ago a couple times just with my dogs and like yeah. I feel again it's balance. I just feel like more balanced and that I have because of that I have a lot more energy to spare in times like this when life is like truly chaotic. And I spent, you know, 10 days in California, a stressful day trying to get back here in time for class. And then, and then,
Wait, were you traveling the
yeah,
day of class?
yeah.
Oh gosh, Ian, that is stressful.
And it was like, it was also the day when there were like tornadoes in Barnardsville. And so
No.
they canceled my flight like twice.
Oh no, can't flight cancellation, especially all the way in California, all the way other side
Well,
of the.
I was in Atlanta. And so I
Oh,
was like, if I were in California and I had a bunch of canceled flights, I would have been like, emailed and been like, hey, can I zoom in today? I got trapped because of travel stuff. And I would have gone back to the nursery.
right.
But in Atlanta, I'm just like, screwed. What can
Mm,
I do? So
right.
made it back. But yeah, I think having like energy and like feeling like I have time and can spend it pretty well, um, has given me the energy to like deal with chaos a lot better.
Yeah.
And so much of that is just putting the phone down.
Mm.
Because like all winter I was like anxious and just like in a bad state and on the phone constantly. Because it was just like
It's
because
cheap dopamine.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Cheap dopamine and it was taking up just like hours every day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It very, very much resembles like an addiction, you know?
It is addicting. It's
Yeah,
extremely addicting.
yeah.
And I just want to praise you for, getting the brick, for being so
Oh,
conscientious about it.
oh, it's a
I just want to take that moment because I know that it's sometimes hard for you to acknowledge
yeah.
your strengths, and so I want to take that moment because that is amazing. It's really, really, it's addicting. I mean, like,
Yeah.
even, I mean, I think I might have said that last session. It's like, even Instagram mimics slot machines. Also, like, Facebook does too,
Mm,
where you keep scrolling, and you get like these bright new images, which is
yeah.
shown to be really, really addicting to the human brain. So yeah. But okay, so I wanted to bring up, so time, you feel like you have a better grasp on not losing, you feel like you have a better control over how much, your time,
Hmm.
right? I just wanted to bring that back up because I wanted to see if there were any goals that you were wanting to set. I know you mentioned the phone, cutting
Yeah.
back on phone screen
Yeah.
time. Would you like, and do you feel like you have a good handle? I feel like, I don't know. I see so much growth and so much, conscientious effort on your part
Yeah.
acting these.
It,
So,
you know, it's a lifetime of learning that I just have to like do stuff if I want to change anything.
gosh, it'd be easy if you didn't have to do the stuff, wouldn't it? Be
Yeah.
nice. Just snap your, I wish. Because it's hard to get that, I don't know. It's just hard. Like the hardest, I feel like the hardest part's always the beginning, or getting started,
Oh yeah. It's always starting.
Ah,
Um, yeah, I think my goals are to keep the phone away out of my life as much as possible
okay.
and and to just like get out in the woods more and hike more because it was really yeah, just engage with nature a lot more.
Like physically,
Yeah.
instead of through iNaturalist.
Yes. Yes. And like, iNaturalist, I'm always looking at tropical stuff and it's very different than here, but we're getting into such, we're getting into that season where it is just like things are starting to come out. We're
Mhm.
past the peak trout lily season in the lowlands. Up in the
Mm.
mountains, they'll be coming up. But yeah, yeah, the place I try to go to like certain places every year to
Mhm.
just like see all the different ways that the wildflowers bloom.
Mm.
And um, everything seems to be pretty early, just like slightly early this year. And so I would usually go for um, my birthday in late April and do this hike. And now I'm like, I'm gonna have to do this a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Because, and you know, I think just in terms of like time and slowing down, like being present and being acquainted with the seasons and just like the daily changes, um, slows time down in a way that is very grounding,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like over the past 3 days, I've sat on my porch every morning and every afternoon. And in the morning, I have like three peach trees out front.
Mm.
They're all in bloom right now, and they have like these beautiful pink flowers.
Oh, that's amazing.
And in the morning, you'll get like a couple little bees visiting them. And in the afternoons, when the sun hits them and they're actually like
Mm.
fragrant,
Yeah.
um, hundreds and hundreds of bees and flies and all of these pollinators just visiting and visiting and visiting. Like we saw four or five different bee species and
Mm.
and so it's just like very grounding to have that routine, of just like cup of coffee in the morning, cup of coffee in the afternoon. You sit and you like experience what nature I can,
Yeah.
right?
Being present. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, extremely grounding.
And
Um,
so I
yeah.
think my goals are to just like keep that up, you know,
So maintenance.
maintenance.
Maintenance of the good that you're doing because you're doing a lot of it.
It's maintenance.
You're doing
Yeah.
the work, you're doing it, and you're being really mindful about it. And I mean, I think it's amazing, Ian. I really wish, I mean, not wish, I really want to. I know I've already said that, but I really do want to highlight that. And I'm not just trying to be a cheerleader. I just
No,
I really, I just think it's important because I
yeah.
think acknowledging that you're doing well and you're being mindful about it, I think that's only going to encourage you to maintain it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like when we can be really hard on ourselves and like we can get so much we can be doing so well and be checking so many boxes, but the one box we didn't check that we wanted to that day, um, we can focus on that instead
Yeah.
of all the good we do.
Totally.
And I think that can be really detrimental to maintaining that
Yeah.
what you're doing. So I just wanted to not just trying to
No, thank you.
be overly
I
positive. I
appreciate
think,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I
No,
just think it's important.
I think that this is like this, I mean, this is something I want to maintain, and it took a long time to get here. And I think I have a lot of trouble with maintenance, you know?
It's hard.
Like, I don't, yeah, I really don't do that great with it. And I tend to like punish myself more, obviously more than I should for any like slips in
Yep.
maintenance, any like transgressions in like what I know is a healthy routine. And I like, yeah, I I could use, I think, some like strategies for maintenance because I'm really, despite like me succeeding over the past week of like getting into a routine and like doing all of that, like I know that one day soon I will not do that. And I will just like, and then who knows how long the not doing it will continue. And then I just get super out of sorts.
That is extremely valid fear and or worry, concern. Um, what like do you what like when that comes up for you, does it like do you what do you feel in your body? Does anything I just want to try to like recenter
Yeah,
because there
it,
might be some unprocessed emotion there.
yeah. And I think, I don't know, I tend to hold like any tension or anything in my shoulders. So I'm trying to just like figure that out. But it like holding the, um, expectation of like an ebb, a like forgetting of the routine, um, and then, not following through for however long, um, makes it makes me really sad.
Hmm.
And like when I talked about not not like, when one day will just lead into more days of not
Right.
doing it. I just felt like a wash of a little bit of sadness because like
Mhm.
that has been the routine. And
Right.
the routines I have, like I know what makes me happy and what makes me have like good days and bad days. And still I can't maintain the good days, the routine, you know? And I also can't tell really what is like getting in the way, you know?
Well, I don't want to give advice, but
Yeah.
maybe shifting what routine looks like for you.
Yeah.
Maybe having having root like options for your routine. So like you know how like a certain part of your day you like to start I don't know, for one thing that is helpful for I mean, for just, I know this a helpful thing is to giving that I don't know, for example, going to work out every day is really helpful for your brain or going,
Hmm.
four times a week. Um, Giving like an option to do it in the morning, afternoon, and evening. So if you miss the morning, you can go in the afternoon. If you miss
Hmm.
and then God forbid you miss all three, you have, I don't know, you want to try to do four times a week, you can do the rest of the week. But I don't know, having those options, having those pitfalls can be a little bit helpful. I don't know. But
Yeah.
also, I do want to say, I think the bigger thing besides that, honestly, I kind of wish I kind of wish I would have focused on this instead. But Tell me if I'm wrong, but maybe you're so hard on yourself and you're so worried about slipping out of that routine because you don't want to go back to how you were feeling and how, how you operated when you felt like you had no time and you felt like you could just
Really?
work. Really, it sounded to me, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, if it sounded like all you could do was work and then come
Yeah.
home and sleep and work and you felt
Yeah.
like you had no time and you didn't have a routine because you're so miserable at your job, though.
Hmm.
I feel like that is a I feel like from my perspective, of course, from what I'm hearing from you, it seems like you have worked really, really, really hard. You've worked very hard to set up a life that works for you. You say you only work 20 hours a week. I mean, that's going to grad school as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
It's a
that's a
lot.
that's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Um and I don't, it seems like you're already or like reclaiming your time, which is amazing.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
understand worrying about slipping with the routine.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's an extremely valid concern. Um, but I also I also think that it would be helpful. I don't know how to, I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase this without sounding like a friend. Um, I feel like sometimes we can be really, really hard on ourselves for slipping, which of course we want to hold ourselves accountable, of course, but there's a thin line between accountability and just shaming ourselves. And I
Yeah.
think when we can just whenever we live in that shame and we do slip up and then we focus on that, I feel like that's gonna be a huge, bigger, way bigger catalyst to anyone like going to freeze mode and slipping up and completely losing the routine,
Yeah.
then holding some grace for yourself. Grace is really important.
Yeah.
And
And I am like really bad at that. You know,
yeah, of
I'm
course.
just bad at that. I'm bad at self-forgiveness. I'm bad at like getting praise. I am bad at like, you know, I don't know how to practice that. And like the yeah, the only place I am like good at like getting praise and like and validation is in the orchid world. Um, but I also think what you said about like having set times to like do or like, if my routine is disrupted in the morning, just like putting it off for the afternoon. I think I'm also like so rigid that if like the routine is disrupted in the morning, then the whole day is just like, oh, it's
Yeah,
all done. I can't do it ever again.
I know. I know that's
And
easy to do. So we only
and
have
then
we
and
only have
then
a minute
it's
left. Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
We
And
only have
then
a
it's
minute left. Go
starting
ahead.
again the next day. But yeah,
Wait, say that. What did you say?
and then it's like the difficulty of starting again the next day. And so it just like, yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, because I feel like, yeah, I feel like sometimes having some flexibility with routine, and I think it allows us to be aware of our humanity because
yeah.
things happen, and
Like
giving us
the flexibility is part of that forgiveness.
exactly, exactly. And sometimes you might just not like, of course it's important to like push through when you're not just feeling it, of course. But that can also cause burnout to push through not feeling like
Yeah,
always trying to push through it
yeah,
because that's sometimes if that keeps happening, that's you might need something else. You might need to eat, you know what I mean? There's might be some other needs that you could pay attention to. You need to pay attention to that or not. I don't know. Your body or your mind might be asking for something else, even though, I don't know, just some flexibility. I love that how you put that is a way to just a way of self-forgiveness, a way of that's a beautiful way to put that.
yeah.
Okay, sorry. We have 1 minute. So I wanted to um oh